rushing through my heart. And you're just a virus I can't delete. I was falling for you, now I'm falling apart. And you're like a virus, uncontrolled, a dangerous and deadly work of art. And you're just a virus in my soul. I was falling for you, now I'm falling apart. And it was all over from the moment that I pressed start.
Simple girl next door. I'm just not the type he's looking for. Hey, Sayori, you doing okay? I'm having a difficult day. I'd say you seem pretty lonely.
I wish I could make her grin. All she wants are things back the way they've been.
She's depressed and stressed and she's feeling blue, so I don't want Sayori hanging around you. Just Monica, just Monica. Just Monica, just Monica, just Monica, just Monica, just Monica, just Monica. Manga is my passion, don't you dare be fashion. The writing got finesse. Maybe you should borrow these until tomorrow. Were you looking at my dress?
Let's go read a story.
What about Sayori?
Let's talk about me instead. I've been learning piano and I sing soprano, and I can't get you out of my head.
Can't look away, can't help but blush. Where did I get this overwhelming crush? It's sharp as a knife and twice the rush.
Yo, there's something I think you should know. I've never seen Yuri so
Sane and chill and still kinda sweaty, and I don't mind cutting to the chase. I'm in
my dear friend Yuri. It's getting the point now. Just Monica, 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 just Monica. Could you have guessed? Maybe you knew. Natsuki is next, I'm deleting her too. We don't need cupcakes or poems or tea. I only need you to love me. Hey, there's no one else in our way. So look at me and just say right here, my dear, that you love me. And we'll sit here till the end of time, 'cause I've earned this and you're finally mine. And I'm sorry what you had to see, but it no longer matters, 'cause now you belong to me. Just Monica, just Monica, just Monica, just Monica,
Good evening, one and all. How are we all doing today? Let me just adjust my screen a bit here. Oh. Hello, one and all. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. We are back for part 2. We are back to be hurt today. That's right. Today is going to hurt. Man, Sayori, poor thing. Right, how are we all doing today? Hopefully we're all doing quite well. Is my camera straight? Is my camera... I think it's a little skew. Hang on. Unfortunately, I've had a little bit of a fight with this camera recently. So, things aren't exactly as they should be. I am terrified. So today, we're going to be playing Natsuki's route, then Sayori's route, then ending chapter 1. Let's load the game. It makes me so happy every time I hear this theme. So guys, last time we finished off Yuri's path. Today we start from the beginning with our Natsuki path. Alright, what do we have here? What could be her? Jump could be her, or it could be Sayori. She's someone that likes shorter sentences. Birds can fly, things can jump. Crimson sounds like I've heard of her or Yuri. Smile could be... I think it's through. What could be hers here? I don't think any of these sound like her. Maybe Poof? Comfort? Chocolate? She likes her cooking, so chocolate. Skirt could be her. Pink? Do we think pink? Pink sounds like a Natsuki thing, doesn't it? Hang on. I can't actually see you guys right now. Hang on. There we go, now I can see you guys. How are you doing? Nibble? Nibble on a cake? Kawaii? Of course you're kawaii. Why wouldn't you be kawaii? Music? Breathe. Insight. Maybe portrait? Oh, music is a Sayori type. Okay. waterfall. Bouncy, that's... Hershey's are bouncing. I'm gonna lift my camera down, give me a sec, guys. Just so you guys get a little better look at the glorious Doki Literature Club shirt we are wearing today. I know I said I was gonna do cosplay today, but honestly, guys, when I got home, I was kind of like, I just don't have it in me to cosplay today. So I decided I wasn't going to. Let me turn the game down just a tad more, because if I remember correctly, the game is very quiet compared to me. When I do like Yuri's voice, it was very hard for you guys to understand me. Socks. Candy, because she likes her sweets. She seems like a gamer. Climax is a Yuri word, if I remember. Blanket? Do we think Natsuki would like to be wrapped up in a blanket? Of course she does. I think that went perfectly well. So, we are going to go over some duplicate scenes, okay? I'm not going to recognize if they're duplicates, so please bear with me. Hi again, Krona. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I think this is stuff we've already done before. Oh yeah, we definitely did all this stuff before. So just gonna quickly... Manga's literature! Yeet! Man. My heart. Sorry, just think Sayori, my heart. It reminds me, where's my tissues? Because I'm gonna need... Oh, it's bad enough that I'm saying winter's coming. So my cold's acting up, as I've said pretty much every stream. It's gonna get worse after this. So we receive our book. We receive our book of Markov. Here we go. I hear Natsuki utter an exasperated sigh from within the closet. She seems to be annoyed with something. I approach her, in case she needs a hand. Are you looking for something in there? Frickin' Monaco. She never puts my stuff back in the right spot. What's the point in keeping your collection organized if someone else is just gonna mess it up? Natsuki slides a bunch of stacked books and boxes across the shelf. Manga? You read manga, right? Sometimes. Manga is one of those things where you can't admit you're really into it until you just figure out where the other person stands. I think you know anyway. I heard you bring it up at some point. Besides, it's kind of written on your face. What's that supposed to mean? I see. There's a lone volume manga amidst a stack of various books on the side of one of the shelves. Curious, I pull it off the stack. There it is! Natsuki snatches it out of my hand. She then turns to a box of manga and slips the volume right into the middle of the rest. Much better. Seeing a box set up with one book missing is probably the most infuriating sight in the world. Natsuki, I can relate. As someone with multiple missing volumes of the Personas, I know that feeling. I get a closer look at the box she's admiring. Parfait? It's a series I've never heard of in my life. That probably means it's either way out of my demographic, or it's simply terrible. It's not that I wouldn't have heard of it or anything. If you're gonna judge, you can just do it through the glass on the door. She points to the classroom door. Hey. I wasn't judging anything. I didn't even say anything. It was your tone of voice. I'll tell you one thing, Krona. Consider this a lesson straight from the literature club. Don't judge a book by its cover. In fact, Natsuki pulls out the first volume of Parfait Girls from the box. I'm gonna show you exactly why. She shoves the book right in my hands. I stare at the cover. It features 4 girls in colourful attire striking animated feminine poses. It's exceedingly Mo. Don't just stand there. Natsuki grabs my arm and pulls me into the closet. She then takes a seat against the wall beneath the windowsill. She pats on the ground next to her, signaling for me to sit there. Wouldn't chairs be more comfortable? I take my seat. Chairs wouldn't work. Can't read at the same time like that. Huh? Why is that? I guess it's easier to be close together like this. Don't just say that. It make me feel weird about it. Natsuki crosses her arms and scooches an inch away from me. Sorry. I didn't exactly expect to be sitting this close to her either. Not that I can say it's a particular bad thing. I open the book. It's only a few seconds before Natsuki once again inches closer, reclaiming the additional space, while she hopes I won't notice. I can feel her peering over my shoulder, much more eager to begin reading than I am. Wow. How long's it been since I was reading from the beginning? You don't go back and flip for older volumes every now and then? Not really. Maybe sometimes after I finish the series. Hey, are you paying attention? I am. But nothing's really happened yet, so I can talk at the same time. It looks like a bunch of friends in high school. Typical slice of life affair. I kind of grow out of these, since it's rare for the writing to be entertaining enough to make up for the lack of plot. So, what should I expect from this? Is there going to be a plot? Well, obviously. You think I'd enjoy something that didn't have a plot? I mean, well, I guess I know what you're saying. A lot of the beginning is about simple things. Like, there's this really funny chapter where they're obsessed with a guy at the ice cream shop. But that just helps you to get to know the characters. Besides, it's still entertaining. But later on, there's all kinds of drama. Like when they get into the backstories and some of the romance starts to happen. That's what makes it so good. There's so many touching parts. We all know what kind of ones you want to own, Natsuki. Don't try and hide it, sweetheart. Ah, is that so? It sounds like you really know what you're talking about. Maybe I underestimated you. Hey, wait! What's that supposed to mean? Natsuki gives me a little shove. I just meant that I haven't seen you at your full power. Good save. This chapter seems to be like it's about baking. This is just a guess. Is there a lot of baking in this manga? Well, Natsuki pauses for a moment, as if she doesn't want to admit something. Yeah. Why does that matter? It doesn't. I was just curious. Since you enjoy baking too, right? That's just a coincidence. I am to get baking around the same time as I got this manga. Like I would only get into anything just because it's in a manga. Yeah, like that would ever happen. I feel bad for anyone that impressionable. Definitely not a coincidence. I guess that explains Natsuki's interest in baking. Still, of all the hobbies to pick up from a manga, that's definitely one of the better ones. Not to mention she's really good at it, so who am I to judge? We read on for a few more minutes. I finished a couple of chapters at this point. Are you sure this isn't boring for you? It's not. Even though you're just watching me read? Well, I'm fine with that. If you say so. I guess it's fun sharing something you like with someone else. I always get excited when I can convince any of my friends to pick up a series I enjoy. You know what I mean? You don't? That's not... Well... I wouldn't really know. What do you mean? Don't you share your manga with your friends? Could you not rub it in? Jeez. Sorry. Like I'm getting my friends to read this. They just think manga's for kids. Can't even bring it up with them and be all like, you still haven't grown out of that yet? Makes me want to punch him in the face. Oh, God. I know those kind of people. Honestly, it just takes a lot of effort to find friends who don't judge. Much less friends that are also into it. I'm already kind of a loser, so I guess I gravitate towards other losers over time. But it's probably harder for some people like you. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Wait, which part? I mean, I feel like I can't even keep it in my own room. I don't even know what my dad would do if he found this. At least it's safe here in the club room. So, Monica was kind of a jerk about it. Just can't win, can I? Well, it paid off in the end, didn't it? I mean, here I am reading it. Well, it's not like that solves any of my problems. Maybe. But at least you're enjoying yourself, right? So? Jeez, that's enough. You're gonna keep reading or what? Yeah. I flip the page. Suddenly, Natsuki begins laughing. I totally forgot that happens. Natsuki puts her finger on one of the panels. Minori's my favorite character. You always feel bad for her since she's so unlucky. But it gets especially bad when... I shouldn't be talking about that yet. Just finish the chapter. Aww. Natsuki's voice sparkles with excitement. It's a stark contrast to her usual bossy tone. But if she's not used to sharing her favourite manga with her friends, I can understand why. It's hard to express in words the feeling you get when you're connecting with someone like that. And being able to provide that to Natsuki, for whom it's a rare experience. The thought makes me smile a little to myself. Okay, everyone? Huh? Are you all ready with today's poems? Oh, come on! Couldn't your timing be any worse? Sorry. I just need to make sure we have enough time. Though, you do look pretty cozy over there. Huh? Natsuki suddenly notices how close she's got to me. She hastily slides herself a good 12 inches away from me. Alright, Guess I'll stop here for now. I close the book and hand it towards Natsuki. You're just giving it back? Do you want to know what happens? Yeah, but Monica just said, don't be dumb. Just take it home with you. Huh? Is that really alright? I say that mostly because I didn't really plan on using my spare time to read this. Well, of course. It would take me forever to finish if you didn't take it home. Just finish that one before tomorrow, so we can start the next one. And if it gets burnt, I'll kill you. By tomorrow? I only got partway through the volume so far. I might fall behind on some shows if I try and get through this. But I suppose that's a necessary sacrifice in exchange for seeing Natsuki's enthusiastic face. Or am I more scared of seeing what will happen if I don't finish it? Alright then. I stand up. I return to where I put my stuff and carefully slip the book into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah? My relaxation ends. Can't believe I agreed to do something that's embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done things like this. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share it with? Now, this is a good poem, Krona. Are you sure it's your first time? Of course. It's not that good. Am I really the kind of guy that would be writing poems in his spare time? I guess you're right. But that's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid you wouldn't do it seriously. I think she says the same stuff here. I think it's Monica that usually has the stuff. So we have Dear Sunshine once again. So okay, so the poems aren't going to change at the moment until we get towards the end. Oh, Sayori, I wish I could ruffle your hair. I wish I could ruffle your hair, sweetheart. Okay, well, let's start with things I don't like. First of all, never mind. I don't feel like giving you my opinion. Huh? What's the point of sharing in the first place? I wrote this when I could be doing other things. In fact, remember how I said I wanted to read your poems? That's what I had in mind when I was That's what I had in mind when writing this. I wanted to help you feel comfortable enough to share yours. Like Monica said. Well, I would be more comfortable sharing my poems if yours was really bad. You were supposed to show me some dumb poem, and then we go like, well, it's not that great, but let me show you what real literature looks like. And you went and ruined it. I hope you're happy. So, in other words, you're saying you liked it? Natsuki's retort gets caught in her throat. You just don't understand anything, do you? I already told you. You don't have to go around announcing to the world that you're all self-important. Pretty sure you actually never said that. I say that mostly to myself. Natsuki must really hate me or something. I can't figure out if that's a win or a lose if she liked my poem. In any case, you still need to show me yours, right? Fine, I guess. Only because Monica will make me if I don't. Yeah. I told you I'm gonna like it. I like it. So I think... Yep, this is repeated dialogue. Okay, so this might go a lot quicker because a lot of the dialogue is repeated. I will probably read a lot more through Sayori's but I don't want to read it 3 times. A minute passes. More than enough time for her to finish reading. Oh. Sorry. I forgot to start speaking. It's fine, don't force yourself. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Hold on. Okay. This is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah? Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. I guess that it might be after reading through it. No? Did I just raise my voice? I'm sorry. It's fine. I really didn't notice. What were you saying? Right, Okay, so she's not going to talk about how it seems like more Natsuki based. It might be a lot quicker than I thought it was. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Okay, so that's how skipping worked. I didn't know how skipping worked in this game, and I'm kind of happy it was like that. Hi, Krona. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, I'm always listening. To you. The real you. I like it. It's a lot cuter than I expected. Oh, jeez. No. It kind of makes me think of something Natsuki would write. And she's a good writer, too. So, take that as a compliment. If you say so. Yep. There are lots of poems or stories out there that are no more than a few simple words. They can be funny, endearing, or even sad. And sometimes they're only a few lines long. It might even feel like they're written for kids, but if you think about them, they can express views of the world that can apply to anybody. I see. So, you're saying Natsuki is kind of like that? Sort of. Maybe she's not an expert, but you probably won't find much filler in her poems. They might be easy to write, but they're super challenging to get the meaning through. So I can see why it would be your kind of poem to explore. I'm sure I'll try ending up different things. It could take a while before I'm comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to kind of see what kind of style suits you. Everyone else might be a little biased towards their own kind of styles, but I'll always help you find out what suits you the most. So don't force yourself. It's not like you have to worry about them impressing them or anything. So, you want to read my poem? Oh, whoa, wow. Okay, so this literally skips through everything that I've already read. This time we're going Natsuki. Oh look, I can't even skip. They added a whole thing so you can skip everything that you've already done. That is smart. I like that. Yuri, you're really talented. Well, but Natsuki has a point. I think that I racked my brain in an attempt to back myself up. I think that conveying feelings in a few words can be just as impressive as well. It lets the reader's imagination take over. And Natsuki's poem did a really good job at that. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Shows how much you know. That's not... Natsuki, I think that's enough. Me? But she was the one being mean to me. Natsuki's voice whines. Look, what we talked about yesterday was right. Writing is a really personal thing, and sharing it can definitely be hard. It looks like we learned that today. Even small criticism can lead to something pretty heated. I glanced over my shoulder. Sayori is nodding vigorously. Yeah, so you don't need to feel threatened. You're a great writer, Natsuki. Natsuki's voice gets caught in surprise. Thanks for noticing. She finally mutters, barely audible. Yuri? Yuri looks at me dejectedly. With a face like that, I can't help but feel bad for her as well. I'm sure that Natsuki didn't mean anything she said. So you don't need to feel threatened either. Well, if you say so. Hey! It's not like you need to apologize for me, Krona. Sheesh! Natsuki takes a breath. The thing about... Natsuki glances around the room. Hey, that bird over there looks really far away. Would everyone stop staring at me? Unsurprisingly, Natsuki has a harder time with it than when she boasts. Sarah and Monica look away. Anyway, think about your boobs. I didn't mean it, okay? That's all. Natsuki looks away, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Yeah, you're naturally beautiful, Yuri. Sayori? I'll go make some tea. I was just trying to help. I'm sure she appreciated it, Sayori. Well, now that we're past that, everyone read each other's poems, right? I hope it's worthwhile for everyone, especially you, Krona. And to be honest, it's a nice change of pace from the lazing around we get used to. So, joining the club was responsible for ruining the atmosphere? No, not at all. Not at all. There's still time before we go home. So, we'll relax for a bit. Of course, besides chatting, we need to do literature-related things in the club room. So, maybe you can take the chance to pick up a book, or do some writing. After all, that's what the club is for. I disagree, Monica. Huh? About what? That's not the most important thing about the literature club. The most important thing is having fun. Of course. Well, I guess that's why you're the vice president, Sayori. In the end, though, Monica's right. Being in the literature club properly means I can't spend all my time doing nothing. But in the end, I guess it's been worth it so far. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How do you feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I would say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Krona, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk with everyone about. Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And maybe you learned something from your friends too. So, your poems will turn out even better. I think to myself. I did learn a little more about the kinds of poem everyone likes. With any luck, that means I could do a better job at impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Krona, ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It's truly been a while since Sayori and I spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier? Huh? What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki? Does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time, I said I'm gonna skip the ones I've seen here and we're gonna read it all. Okay? We're gonna do a full read when we get to Sayori's story. So now we are saving Natsuki's route. I'm gonna be right back, guys. Please bear with me. See you guys in 1 second. Or do you guys want me to read? I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want me to keep reading them? Or do you want to not be read? Doki Doki. One of Natsuki's best ones, in my opinion. It works for her. There's a lot. Doing this really makes me realize how much there is. It's not long before Natsuki comes over to me unexpectedly. Yeah. Don't worry, I kept my promise. I pull the first volume of Parfait Girls from my bag. Natsuki takes it from my hands, then quickly turns it over, presumably to check for wrinkles. Hey, I'm not that careless. I handle manga all the time, you know. I just want to make sure. Can you blame me for being paranoid? I don't give my people my manga every day, you know. That is true. I don't blame you. Well, anyway, let me put this one back. I'm gonna get the next one, okay? Natsuki makes her way to the closet. I follow. So, you're gonna tell me everything you thought, yeah? Where did the volume leave off again? I forgot. The chapter ended when Minori found Ale, and Alice found Monica! Natsuki's voice resonates from inside the closet. Huh? I peer inside. All of Natsuki's books are lined up on the top shelf. Did you move my manga again? Sorry. The teacher got mad for me for taking up so much space in her closet, so I had to move some stuff around and clean up a bit. It's all still there, I just had to reorganize it a bit. The top shelf is far above Natsuki's head. She makes a futile hop, trying to figure out how to reach her manga. Jeez, this is so inconvenient. I'm moving all these back down. There's plenty of room on these shelves. Besides, they're really pretty to look at when they're all lined up. Why would you waste that on the top shelf? Natsuki? There's a stool on the wall there. In the closet, there's a collapsible stool that's hanging on the wall. If you want, I can reach up there and hand them to you. I can get it myself. Natsuki grabs the stool from the wall and unfolds it. You think I'm too short or something? I mean, I knew it. Well, you know what? Just watch me. Natsuki hops onto the stool, which ends up being a little wobbly because of its collapsible design. Ugh. Careful. I know what I'm doing. Standing on the stool, Natsuki's fingertips reach the top shelf. The stool would be enough for me to easily grab the books, but Natsuki is being as stubborn as usual. Natsuki uses her fingers to scoot one of the smaller boxes to the edge of the shelf. See? That! The box suddenly tips. Natsuki barely catches it before it falls to the floor. The stool wobbles. Losing balance, Natsuki hops off the stool. Thankfully, she was able to stay on her feet. She holds the box triumphantly. There! Having almost fell, Natsuki is a bit shaken up. Jeez, no need to prove yourself to me. There's no way you'll be able to get the bigger boxes like that. I can reach them, so just... I said, I can do it. I don't want your help, okay? I'm gonna get a chair, so just hang on. Natsuki forces her way past me out of the closet. Let's see. The classroom chairs have the desks attached, so they're too inconvenient to fit in the closet. Natsuki trots over to the teacher's desk, which has a computer chair behind it. She rolls its wheels back over to the closet. It's a little dangerous since the chair swivels and rolls. But I've already learned my lesson, so I'll keep my mouth shut. Natsuki climbs onto the chair and slowly balances onto her feet. Since she refused my help, I take a seat with my back against the side of the doorway and simply watch. There we go. See, I can easily do it now. Natsuki grabs a stack of manga and bends down to put it on the shelf below. The chair swivels. Natsuki catches herself on the shelf. What are you doing? Can you really hold the chair steady instead of sitting and doing nothing? Who was it that told me not to help? Yeah, I got you. I hold the chair while Natsuki reaches back up. I can almost see up her skirt. I force myself to turn away. Natsuki certainly didn't think this through. Once she realizes I'll be dead. Natsuki wraps her arms around the parfait box set, easily the largest one on the shelf. Heavy! Hey, Krona, I don't think I can bend down without falling. Hurry up and take this one. But then I'd have to let go of the chair. That's fine. Just for a second. Hurry up! Alright, let me just stand up. I slowly release my grip from the chair. What do you mean stand up? Natsuki looks down at me. Why are you all the way back?
Naughty boys who don't do what they're told need a little punishment to keep them in line.
Natsuki looks like she just realized something. But she'll lose her balance if she moves. Natsuki the box. What are you looking at? You're trying to look at my... Natsuki's legs shake. I'm not, I was just... Natsuki, don't try and move. Just give me the box. You perv! You set me up! Go away! Get out! But... do it myself! The chair suddenly swivels beneath Natsuki's feet. Natsuki! Yeah! The scene turns to chaos in a split second. The chair flies out from under Natsuki's feet. Frantically, I try and catch her. The box topples out of her hands, and the books go flying. This music was made for this scene, by the way. 100%. I got you! Dark Souls, you died. The full force of Natsuki's body against me froze me to the ground. A whole bunch of books pelt me in the face. Natsuki tries to shield herself with her own arms at her face, landing straight. Natsuki tries to shield herself with her own arms as her face lands straight on my chest. My right arm and back seriously felt the impact. Ugh. Slowly, Natsuki comes to her senses. She presses her arm straight into me to prop herself up. Natsuki seems to realise that it's not the floor beneath her. Gross, gross! Ugh. A fist pounds into my chest. Natsuki then hoists herself to her feet. What are you thinking? Sicko. Everything okay over there? I heard a loud noise. Monica suddenly peers in. Monica, see what happens when you put the manga on the top shelf? Are you trying to kill your club members or something? Jeez. sorry. Oh, and one more thing. Seems like your most recent club member is a total pervert. So I hope you're happy. I didn't... Somehow. It's impossible for me to explain the whole bizarre situation to Monica. I didn't do anything, I swear. I know. Don't worry. Monica said that quietly to me. Oh, looks like I'm off the hook. No. I look down. Natsuki is kneeling on the floor, holding one of the books that are scattered all over. There's a large diagonal crease along the page she's desperately trying to smooth out. I must have landed on the page. Oh no. Natsuki tries a bit more to fix the crease, but she can't get it out. Suddenly, she gives up and slams the book shut, then throws it to the floor. Instead of continuing to yell, she just lowers her head. Natsuki, are you... No! Natsuki's voice squeaks. I see tears on her face. I'll help get the crease out, okay? It's partially my fault, so... Natsuki shakes her head, still looking down. No, I don't even care that much. I'm just having a really bad day today. Natsuki sobs again. I didn't mean to take it out on you. I really didn't mean to. It's fine. Is there anything you want to talk about? Natsuki shakes her head. Just every day. It's so hard. I just want to come out to the club and... Natsuki falls silent again. I can't press her, so I can only do what I know how to do. Alright. Well, I'll help you clean this up, and I'll move the rest of the manga for you. I pick up volume 2 of Buffet Girls. We'll set this one aside. Just hope you cheer up a bit, right? We can get started on it once I'm done here. Natsuki looks up with glossy eyes. Her lip quivers. Yup. You're really nice to me. Huh? That sounded really strange coming from Natsuki. I didn't expect it at all. Well, I'm just treating you like a friend, you know? Natsuki lowers her head and stifles another sob. I'm not sure what happened to her today. Being nice is the least I could do. The next couple of minutes are silent between us, as I begin to gather these scattered books. I make sure to slip them all into the box in their correct order. After a little bit, Natsuki starts helping. It isn't long before we're done, and I hoist the box onto the shelf where Natsuki wanted it to be put. Then I get on the stool and quickly finish moving the rest of her books from the top shelf. Alright, that should do it. I hop off the stool. Natsuki averts her gaze. Thanks. Were you looking at my ass? pervert. It's nothing. Natsuki's holding the volume I set aside in her hands. Alright, I'm ready. Good. Even if you weren't, I'd make you anyway. You're taking responsibility for what you said. Think about cheering me up, if you insist. We sit in the same spot as last time, and I open the second volume. Natsuki's mood quickly improves, laughing and pointing things out to me. She's surprisingly sharp, making a note of a lot of the subtle repeated jokes and background elements. In the end, I'm pretty impressed by how everything ties together in this manga. I guess Natsuki has good taste after all. After some time, Monika gets our attention as usual, and it's time to share poems again. Guess I'll hold this one back for now. Yep. Even you sound more enthusiastic this time. Well, I started getting into it, you know? Told you. Yeah. I returned to my seat and slipped the book into my bag. I like how this kind of runs. So, Yuri's got something new to say, so I can't skip it. Are you still mad at me? Huh? For disrespecting Natsuki yesterday? Because reading this poem, now I know why you got mad at me. Because you prefer her writing over mine. That's not really true. Hello, Evie! Welcome on in. How are you doing today? We're skipping through on Natsuki's story, but we're going to be doing a full read when we get to Sayori's story, so that I can much better some things. Let me just... So, right now we're playing through Natsuki's story. We are doing the skip scenes, just to get ahead of it. However, when we do reach Sayori's story, guys, I will be going into an explanation of the Sunbeam ship, where it's come from, and how my OC Haruki would be playing throughout the story. That's not really true. Meaning, when I disrespected her, I disrespected you too, didn't I? Oh no. Yuri, you might be reading into this a little too much. How could I be so stupid? I always let these things happen. Whenever I think before I speak, I just come off as awkward and unlikable. But if I speak without thinking, the things I want keep coming out and make people hate me. So, please don't force yourself to be around me. I know that's what Monika wants. But it's not fair when you could be enjoying your time with Natsuki and Sayori. Yuri, please. If it makes things easier for you, I don't expect any concern. Besides, I have my books with me. That's all I need. Yuri smiles sadly and puts her head down onto her desk. I'm frustrated. I don't hate her, but it's as if she's not capable of listening to me over her own thoughts. All I can do is accept that that's how she is. If she wants to be left alone, then I have no choice but to abide to that request. I'm glad to hear you're doing alright as well today. Natsuki, have you got something new to say? I love how they've done the skip in this. I like this. If they've got something new to say, you can't skip the scene. Natsuki reads my poem. She keeps glancing at me, then back to the poem, then back to me, then back to the poem. Unfortunately, that poem isn't me. I'm on a horse. By now, she must have read it more than once. Is it that bad? No, it's not. It's good. It's really good, okay? There, I said it. Ugh, this wasn't supposed to happen at all. Why can't you just be bad at this? My poem was supposed to impress you, not the other way around. You're trying to impress me? Obviously. You think I've let Yuri's writing more than mine? Give me a break. Well, in that case, what's the problem with me trying to impress you? tell you. Natsuki's face freezes. Like she just realized something. Do you think she just realized something, guys? You know, hang on, I gotta find a little soundbite that might work here. Do you think Natsuki just realized something? You're trying to impress me? Natsuki vigorously scans her eyes over my poem one more time. Then the poem slips out of her hands and flutters to the floor. I have to use the bathroom! Almost fell out my chair doing that. Red-faced, Natsuki quickly walks out of the room. Hey, Krona? Did you do something to Natsuki? I just saw her rush out like that. You didn't do anything terrible, did you? I will tell you, Monica. So, she falsely accused me earlier of trying to look up her skirt. But then, when I was helping out, I caught her looking at my ass. No, I just told her that... My voice gets caught in my throat. There's no way I could tell Monica that I'm trying to impress Natsuki. If I did that, the FBI would be at my door. That's alright, thank you so much for the look. Hope you have a lovely evening. Monica sees the poem lying on the floor and swiftly picks it up. She reads through it, her smile not fading from her face. I see. You wrote this for Natsuki, didn't you? I mean, not really. In fact, didn't she like your poem the other day a lot too? I'm surprised you know her taste so well already. Are you sure you're not cheating, Krona? Cheating? What do you mean by that? Never mind, I'm just kidding. I wonder, does that line refer to people that would look up or use a cheat sheet on what words everyone likes? Or is this her saying, are you cheating on me? I didn't understand Monica's joke at all. Anyway, how do you think Natsuki feels about you? Oh, you don't need to answer that. It was just something for you to think about. Hey! Natsuki comes and snatches the poem out of Monica's hands. Neither had noticed her re-enter the classroom. Did you read this, Monica? Of course, I liked it. Ugh. You should, really stop reading things that aren't for you, you know. You have a bad habit of doing that. Huh? But Krona wrote this poem. And we're supposed to share with everyone, right? Natsuki freezes. She apparently forgot that my pet poem is technically for everyone to read. Okay, well, I think Krona's done sharing his poem with everyone. It's not like anyone would want to read this anyway. In fact, I'm just gonna hold on to this. If you insist. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Like what? Never mind. Well, I guess Natsuki is my poem now. Not that I really planned on keeping it. Anyway, read my poem now. And no, I won't let you keep it. This is my only copy. And we have the poem we didn't get to read last time because she was upset with us. And I've just remembered I forgot my big part. Is it under here still? Let's have a look. Is it back under here? It is.
Lucina Exalt 1 has invited one to join the conquest.
Lucina Lucina, my buddy, old pal, welcome on in. Hello, everyone. Let's get quickly, before I do my introduction, let's get Lucina a big old shout out. Playing some more Xeno on that one. Last playing Fire Emblem Warriors? Oh, I've been missing you playing Fire Emblem Warriors. Oh no, I feel really bad. I love that game. Oh, now I feel really bad. Right, I actually have to go to the bathroom. Badly at the moment. I'll tell you what, guys. I will say, welcome on in, people, on the raid. My name is Crunch Sweets. Welcome to Arcadia. Alongside my little friend, Owie, we run the Arcadia Network, a safe haven for gamers of all kinds. We mainly focus on RPG games, but, you know, we like to spread out, as you can see right now with the psychological horror game, Doki Literature Club. It's totally not like I'm a big fan of the franchise. I'm gonna have to be right back. I am sorry, guys. I did put myself, this game does put me through a lot of stress. Please bear with me again, and I will see you guys in one moment. Sayori, tell them jokes. There we go, I do apologise, guys. Oh my god. Evie! What have you done? What have you done? You unleashed the bees. The poem's not about bees. It's about spiders. Talking of, right, those that don't know, went to the zoo today, right? There was a spider in that zoo about this fucking big that catches birds. Ew. How are you as well, Lucina? Doing today? I'm fine, only on chapter 7. Oh, you're getting pearl. I'm getting diamond. Which, I really shouldn't do this on stream because, like, say this all gets uploaded and stuff. Where is it? Guess what I found, guys? Diamond, platinum, black and white 2. Conquest. All 3 Pokemon Ranger games, Pokemon Dash, both of the DS titles for Mystery Dungeon. And, well, Dinosaur King's on there because Dinosaur King was another big game for me. I managed to find my old copy, and it's still, I believe, if I remember, it's still my original on there. So I can contrast my old file to my new file when it comes to the Switch. Right, you've actually come in at a good time, Lucina, because we are doing Natsuki's route at the moment, and we're on to the poem that we missed, because she runs out of the room in Yuri's version. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wriggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her sing my favourite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words. But she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried to not let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. But if her friends start to like spiders too, That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if it doesn't hurt anyone. It's gross. She's gross. The world is better off without spider lovers. And I'm going to tell everyone. Jesus, I forgot that's how this poem ended. So MCM not having Birmingham in March. Oh, what? So MCM isn't having those two venues. I did see there is the old MCM runners are doing one, I think, in Birmingham. But I don't remember what it was called. I will contact a friend and I'll send it through on the Discord. Not bad, right? It's quite a bit longer than yesterday's. Yesterday's was too short. Like me. I'm just warming up. Can we just agree that Natsuki is also someone that unironically would probably play Sonic Adventure 2 Dark Story? I think it was the coolest shit ever. I hope you didn't think it was the best I could do. No, of course not. Anyway, the message is pretty simple forward in this one. I doubt I have to explain it. Sometimes you can just explain complicated issues with much simpler analogies. It helps people realize how stupid they're being. Like, anyone would agree that the subject of this poem is an ignorant jerk. Do you know people... Oh, do you know people like that? Of course. It's how everyone thinks of Mike. That doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote about it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or guilty pleasure. Something that you're afraid if people find out, they'll make fun of you or think less of you. If I'm honest with you guys, that's me with the the only ship I have is Sunbeam. So I guess technically that's what we can talk about here with this one. I stopped shipping a lot of canon characters. I'll say that, oh, they're cute, but I won't like actively seek out fan art of them, of characters together now anymore. Because fandoms are so toxic. That's why I was terrified to share my OC canon. But that just makes people stupid. Who cares what someone likes, as long as they're not hurting anyone? And it makes them happy. I think people need to learn to respect others for liking weird things. Well, you're definitely right. At least I can relate to that. I'm sure a lot of other people can too. You know, I'm glad you can appreciate this kind of writing. I mean, I know I was talking about that yesterday, but I've been enjoying sharing my poems with you, so consider yourself lucky, okay? Well, thanks for being honest. What's that supposed to mean? I'm always honest. Jeez. Just look forward to tomorrow too, okay? Alright. I will. Wait, how am I meant to show my poem to Monica when Natsuki now has it? Hi again, Krona. That was kind of silly with Natsuki earlier, wasn't it? I'm glad the two of you have been getting along so well. That's one way of putting it. Anyway, I already read your poem, so you can go ahead and read mine now. I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. So I believe, yeah, we did read this one. And skip button to the rescue! You don't realize how much reading is actually in this game until you use the skip button. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Walking home with Natsuki, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, I think I would be afraid of what she'd do if I turned her down. Isn't she so cute and fun to be around? That has nothing to do with what I just said. You admitted it. Jeez. I like how that's a one-line difference. That is a one-line difference. But even something that small is so important. Alright. Day 3. What do we think could be hers? Alone, maybe? No, Alone could be... Was Alone one of Yuri's? I don't feel like any of these belong to her. I'll do this. If you reload it, it resets the words. I like that I can do some of these because I remember. Oh, Whirlwind was Yuri. I like it. One of her first words is "I'm not cute." One of her words is "cute." I think that's cool. Honestly, you would think I've done this before, wouldn't you? But I'm literally running off memory of what I've previously used. Ah, there's the squid joke. Why have I not seen a Monica squid pin yet? Hey, you! Huh? I look up to see Natsuki next to me. You're just gonna sit there and keep staring at nothing? There isn't that much time, so... sorry. I didn't mean to make you worry or anything. It's not like I'm worried. I was just... Natsuki glances down at her side. She's holding a volume of manga in her hand. Oh, that's right! Something just came up for a minute, but we can get started now. I won't make you wait any longer. Jeez. Now you make me feel like a jerk. If something's bothering you, then you can just tell me to leave you alone, and I will. I mean, assuming you didn't feel like talking about it or anything. She practically mumbles the last part. Nah, I'm probably making it seem like a bigger deal than it is. I've just been thinking about Sayori, that's all. Sayori? Thinking about her? Yeah, she seems pretty down today. But she didn't want to admit it to me. So I can't help but wonder if something happened to her. Oh. Natsuki exhales. Well, first of all, you should really worry about your phrasing. But anyway, you're our best friend, right? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. In that case, I think you should trust her a little more. Natsuki, you did this! I'm blaming you! If she needs you, then you'd be the first person she'd go to, right? Well, I guess that is true. I mean, some people just have those days. You can't always avoid it. If anything, she probably doesn't want you to worry about her because it's not important. Yeah, that's kind of what she said to me. Maybe it's not right for me to go against her wishes. Exactly. If she needs you to worry about her, then it'll be a lot more obvious. Yeah. I I should have thought of it that way from the start. Natsuki fiddles with the book she's holding in her hands. She really means a lot to you, doesn't she? Don't get the wrong idea or anything. We've just been friends for a long time. It's normal to be worried about your friends. I mean, you were worried about me, so I was not. Jeez, you're fine. Let's hurry and start already. Yeah. So, you know how I said last time I'd never done any of Yuri's path? I only did the first 2 bits of Natsuki's path. Because in the last playthrough we tried for YouTube, we did Natsuki's route first. We did Sayori 1, then we did Sayori's route as the first one, as the first part, and then the second day we did Natsuki's one, and then on day 3 we were going to do Yuri's. Because I thought that's how the game worked back then. Turns out, it's far from that. Okay, everyone. Oh. Let's see. You're suddenly enthusiastic today. Of course. You know I like your writing. I'm just surprised. It seems like you had a lot of trouble admitting that before. Well, of course. I just had to put you in your place a bit. It's not like I was shy or anything like that. Or jealous. I really wasn't jealous. Just because you happen to be a good writer? That's such a dumb thing to get jealous about. Natsuki, what? You're not very confident about your writing, are you? What are you talking about? My writing's obviously the best, right? It took me a while to figure out, but I think I managed to do it. Maybe Natsuki acts so arrogant because she's trying to make up for her own insecurities. If she acts like she's the best, then other people might just think that way too. Right? Rona? Please just tell me you like my poems. I don't care if you hate them. Just please tell me I'm the best. I wish I could head pat the little sister. She's just bratty sis, and I love her in that regards. I really need to hear that from someone. I know it sounds stupid, but there's a reason I never shared my poems before this. Natsuki, because no one ever takes me seriously. What's the point in sharing my poems? People just laugh at it and say, that's so cute, just like you, Natsuki. Sometimes I don't want to be cute. Nobody understands that. I try really hard when I write. The style doesn't matter. The emotions are there. Why can't everyone see that? I just want... Natsuki trails off. Maybe it's because her lip starts to quiver. I look down. Her fists are clenched really tightly. Hey, Natsuki, if you're not careful, you'll rip your own poem. I gently grab the poem in my own hands until she relaxes her grip on it. Exactly, give her all the head pats. I place it flat on the desk and smooth it out. Smooth out the wrinkles she's putting up. Don't read it! Before I can pick it back up, Natsuki snatches the poem from my desk. It's not any good. And I know you hate my poems. So you don't have to read this one, okay? But I want to read it. But why? Because I like your poems. I really do. Why would I judge you for style? It's not like my own style is anything crazy. I mean, it's true the first time I read one of your poems, it didn't look like much. I didn't look much into it. But I know better now. And it was wrong for Yuri to think your style is more amateur than hers. And Sayori, well, she always means well. But sometimes she's so focused on simple happiness that she doesn't understand what people really want. I guess I never really thought about how hard it is for you. I'm sorry if I was part of that problem. I understand now. You're not just cute. You're a lot more than that. Natsuki, you're doing it again. Once again, Natsuki clutches her poem a little too hard. She looks down, hiding her eyes from me. I never realized how difficult this was for her. But finally, she forced herself to extend her arms and set the poem on the table. You can read it. Just turn that way. I don't want you to look at my face right now. Okay, I will. Are you crying? No! My eyes are sweating! Our next poem by Natsuki. Because you. Tomorrow will be brighter with me around. But when today is dim, I can only look down. My looking is a little more forward, because you look at me. When I want to say something, I say it with a shout, but my truest feelings can never come out. My words are a little less empty, because you listen to me. When something is above me, I reach for the stars, but when I feel small, I don't get very far. My standing is a little bit taller, because you sit with me. I believe in myself with all of my heart, but what will I do when it's torn all apart? My faith is a little bit stronger, because you trusted me. My pen always puts my feelings to the test. I'm not a good writer, but my best is my best. My poems are a little dearer, because you think of me. Because of you. Because you. Because you. Why are you looking at me like that? If you don't like it, just say it. I won't get mad. It's not that I don't like it. It's just a little surprising to read. I guess I'm just not used to hearing such nice things coming out of you. Don't just say that. Dummy. What do you think the point of writing is? Expressing thought things that you just can't say. Yeah, I understand. I'm sorry for missing the point sometimes. I always mean well, and I'm happy you showed this to me. I liked it. Yeah, well, I'm a pro, so... Natsuki mumbles, completely failing to sound confident like she usually does. Just remember that I can think of these things sometimes too. You know, when you're nice to me, it's meaningful. I'm glad. Seeing Natsuki is satisfied, I start to hand my poem back to her. But as I do so, Natsuki takes my hand and pushes them back away. Her small, soft hands surprise me with her assertion. I don't want it. Huh? Well, why not? I just don't! Jeez. I realize what Natsuki is doing. And able to be honest, she's trying to give me the poem in a roundabout way. Well, in that case, I'm going to keep it. Instead of teasing her, I chose to go along with it. Good. If you didn't, I would... Never mind. I'm just glad you want it. Natsuki backpedals her words and leaves it at that. Despite her best efforts to hide her expression, I can see her faintly smiling to herself. That's all for now, so... Go put it away before someone sees it, okay? Yeah, I'll go do that. Right. Third time's the charm, guys. I will be right back again. I've just heard... Help if I didn't mute my mic. I've just heard a quick knock. Please. Yuri, it's your turn. Yuri doesn't look too enthusiastic about spending time with me. I guess if she changes her mind, she'll come to me. But I should leave her be for now. So, there we go. In the reverse, if you take Natsuki's route, you lose Monika's. Or you lose Yuri's. That's interesting. Ah, sticking with Natsuki's style once more, I see. You really like Natsuki, don't you? That's... Oh, come on, Corona. It's awfully suspicious, you know. I'm calling the FBI right now. Spending time with her in the clubroom every day. Pretending to like the manga she's into. You know how Natsuki is. If I don't indulge her, she'll end up hating me. Huh? No, I think you're misunderstanding, Corona. It's not like Natsuki just hates anyone who doesn't give her what she wants. Yeah, she's assertive, but she's not selfish. In fact, I think you're the one who's indulging her as much as... You're the only one who's indulging her as much as you have. Is that so? I kind of knew that, but I didn't want to admit it. So I just need to ask one more thing of you. Be careful, please. Natsuki is kind of unpredictable. A lot of times, she doesn't even know what she wants. After all, she's the youngest one here. She might not know how to handle her own feelings properly. What I'm saying is, if something bad happens, that could end up damaging the club too. And you wouldn't want to do that to me, right? That's... I'm not sure how to respond to Monika. While I care about her in the club, it's also kind of unfair to bring that up. Well, you're smart. I'm sure you'll do the right thing. Monika smiles sweetly. Anyway, I'll share my poem with you now, alright? Alright? And we read this last time? You know, I feel like learning and looking for answers are sort of things we've seen this. Sorry, Monika, sweetheart. Sorry to keep skipping ya. And today, we're going to Natsuki! Wow, baking sounds like it could be fun. And you guys made it sound like a lot of work, so I could probably use 2 people. Don't worry, baking's a ton of fun. You'll definitely agree. Huh? Just a minute ago you were saying that... That's because... Never mind, okay? Well, anyway, you'll be fine by yourself, Yuri. Of course. I'm used to it after all. That's... good? Even though Yuri's being melodramatic, it's a little hard not to feel bad. Still means everything's right. Anything else we need to talk about? No, I think that's it. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Yeah? Everything except the performance is gonna be awesome. I don't think that really counts. What about you, Krona? Me? I guess you could sound interested to see how it'll turn out. That's good enough for me. What about you, Yuri? Yuri? She's still sulking. Natsuki starts pouting too. It's not... I mean, it's not that big of a deal or anything. Well, it might not just be that. I feel that Yuri might be feeling a little underappreciated in general. Having to come up with something for her to do and then nobody offering to help? That doesn't mean... Natsuki glances back and forth between everyone with a worried expression. Look! Natsuki goes over and puts her hands down on Yuri's shoulders. Okay, so I'm just gonna emphasize here, with the height difference, I can just imagine this scene is just... boom! Hi, how you doing? Yuri, you really are the most talented one here. And you're gonna help make the event a lot more fun and welcoming. I mean, the cupcakes will probably help a lot too, but you're gonna make the atmosphere special. That'll be really important for the way people feel during the performance. So, you need to stop being dumb and give yourself a little more credit. Natsuki releases her hands and turns around to face the other direction. You didn't really mean that, did you? Not really, but Yuri isn't the only one surprised. Monika and I are also taken aback by Natsuki's words. Natsuki, of all people, to be saying such encouraging things. But I begin to understand. Natsuki was trying to sound like Sayori. And even if it didn't work perfectly, I can tell that she tried to say something Sayori would say at a time like this. Because Sayori always helps everyone smile and feel good about themselves. I'm sorry for being dumb. I'm going to do my best. And all of us are going to make it a really great event. Yeah. I would see everyone do their best. But with that, there's nothing more for today. So I guess it's time for us to head out. Okay, but I'm staying here a little longer. I barely got to do any reading today, so... Fair enough, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone packs up their things. I start to follow Monika and Yuri out the door as they chat between each other. Where are you going? Huh? We still need to figure out our plans for this weekend. You literally got home and realized you didn't have a way to contact me. Oh, that's true. I have no idea how that slipped my mind. Jeez, good thing I stopped you. I'm giving you my number, okay? You better not make it weird or anything. Why would I do that? Natsuki gives me her number. Okay. I'm coming over on Sunday. I'll bring all the ingredients. Wait. You're coming to my house? Well, yeah. What's wrong with that? I mean, I just figured that since I'm the one helping, I would be going to your house. Yeah, right. Like, I could have a guy over at my house. My dad would kill me. Really? That's kind of strict if you'd ask me. Yeah, how do you think I feel? I can't do anything when my dad's home. Anyway, I just needed to complain for a second. We have each other's number now. That's all I needed from you. Guess I'll text you when I'm coming over. Alright? Fine by me? Yeah. I'm really gonna show you why I love baking so much. So you better look forward to it. Oh. Didn't you say you were gonna give me the dirty work? Well, I was just saying that. It's not like I could act like in front of everyone. That I was looking forward to this. Wait, really? Well, kind of. Just because I never got to bake with someone else before. That's all. Alright. I get it. Sorry for overreacting. Anyway, I'll be heading out now. See you on Sunday. Never mind. Oh, she wanted to say it. She wanted to say the 3 magic words. I can't believe this. Natsuki's going to be coming to my house on Sunday, and skip because it's a 1-line difference again. I keep telling myself there's no reason to be nervous, but it doesn't help much. I wonder if she'll act any differently when it's just the 2 of us. Meanwhile, she's been texting me a lot. We sent each other one after exchanging numbers to double check. But it turned into a conversation. She's almost a different personality on the phone, using tons of emojis and cute language. She also really likes complaining about things, but I saw that one coming. But putting Natsuki aside, I haven't heard anything from Sayori. We're going to skip quickly through this, guys, because this scene, I'm taking my headphones off and I'm closing my eyes. I'm literally just peering at the bottom of the screen because this scene also fucking hurts me. Now, yes, we will have to relive it, but this scene kills me, okay? So I hope you guys understand. I spent only a few minutes back at home, awaiting Natsuki's arrival. So we actually get home before Natsuki in this route. Before I know it, she texts me to let me know she's outside the front door. Without delay, I open the front door and let her in. Sup? Oh, I've never seen her actual casual clothes in game. Oh, that is cute. How could I do that if I do an... Because The thing is, obviously as a guy, you wouldn't have bra straps. A pink shirt with like the kitten design would be good. You can't really get pink trousers. Maybe black trousers, white t-shirt with pink accents. Honestly, my male Natsuki is one of the cosplays I want to look at improving. Because it's so basic. A black vest on it. Yeah, that works too. Sup? Hey. I don't know what I was expecting, but seeing Natsuki in something other than a school uniform totally threw me off. Seeing it in such cute clothes makes the uniform seem totally unfitting in comparison. Jeez. Don't make it feel awkward already. It's gonna be a long afternoon, so just don't be weird because you're not used to seeing me outside of school. Anyway, I'm coming in. I see you brought a lot of stuff. Natsuki is carrying a large bag. It's probably full of baking supplies. Well, I didn't want to come all this way to find out the kitchen isn't equipped for the job. You brought everything I asked you to, right? Yeah, I did. Yesterday, Natsuki asked me to buy a bunch of ingredients if I didn't already have them at home. Good. Do you know what? I would love the opportunity to bake something with Natsuki. If it was in reality possible, I would jump at the opportunity to bake with Natsuki. Because I don't do it often, but I really have fun baking. I have more fun baking than I do cooking. So cooking food, it feels like a chore. But baking, for some reason, feels like a game. And I love it. Okay, also, on topics. We said Sayori would play Cookie Run. Would Natsuki play Cooking Mama? Glad I could count on you to do your part. Well, of course. I'm surprised to hear Natsuki suddenly say that. Well, Evie, you said you were going to do a possible Natsuki test. So, baking. If you've got lots of baking equipment, you've got some props there. Wait, you're in Natsuki right now? Halfway Natsuki. So that's why you're lurking. Guys, I'm gonna do a bit of a weird shout out, okay? Right now. If you guys aren't, and you want to see some quality cosplay, go check out Evie's Insta for her cosplay. And if you're doing that, go and check their very similarly named Highlights channel and follow both of them. Please do. I look forward to seeing it, buddy. So I'll be getting Monica on the convention this weekend. I say, unfortunately, my vision broke. Well, it's not broken. I can probably grab it, actually, for you to see quickly. Let's have a look. Yeah. Unfortunately, my vision fell off my bag while I was looking at meerkats. I don't know how well it's going to show up. That some of the paint's peeled will come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that into a workshop just to get a new coat of paint on it. And that's actually easy to do. It's metal, so it should be no different from asking someone to paint some, like a tin soldier. And I'll solder the ring itself of the bag, so it won't happen again. Could it be that she's a little different outside school after all? Anyway, let's go to the kitchen. What? You're not even gonna offer to take this heavy bag from me? Where's your hospitality, Krona? Come on. Oh, that was me. Come on. Since when did I need to be a gentleman? I grab the bag Natsuki holds out to me. This is ridiculously heavy. I carried that all the way here. Are you impressed? We all know how Natsuki carried it here. Natsuki really has that anime power where she can just get super ripped out of nowhere and become buff Suki. I see now. Yeah, I am impressed, Natsuki. Seems like I always underestimate you. It's because I'm so small, isn't it? Jerk. Natsuki hits a fist into my chest. Hey! The size has nothing to do with it. Do you really hate being small that much? It's not like I hate it. I mean, sometimes I just like proving people wrong when they think I'm only worth my size. It's fun when I get to be small, and also be better than other people. But, jeez, never mind. What are you making me say? Don't think you can make me talk about weird things just because we're not at school. Are we getting started or what? There's a lot of stuff I gotta teach you. What? That's a little more like you. You're more fun when you just speak your mind like that. Hey! Now you are treating me like a kid. I was just trying to be a little nicer, you know? Just because I don't have a mature and sexy figure like Yuri doesn't mean you treat me like... Natsuki catches her words, and her face turns red. You're gonna do We have 2 Raiden Shoguns in the chat right now. Oh, hell yeah. And you're gonna get a Sara with you? Oh my god. Well, I think you probably saw on my Instagram yesterday, didn't you, Lucina? My Toma is in the works. We have to sort and fix some things. But it should be ready for next year. Natsuki? Forget it. I didn't say anything. I should apologize. Huh? I appreciate you trying to be nicer. I should have been a little more considerate too. But also, if that's what you're thinking, you should know there are a ton of guys that are into body types like yours. How would you know about that anyway? FBI, open up. Just... Oh, I like that answer! How would you know that? Look, just trust me on that one. Gross. Hey! Was that to me? Who else? Let's just get started already. You get all sour when a girl calls you gross. I think I find your weakness, Kruna. Natsuki smiles deviously. Oh, she knows my weakness. Hey, Monica. Make it snappy. Oh, please spare me. Well, if Natsuki decides to dish out more insults like that, there's no way I'm not fighting back. But she's satisfied enough for now, finally starting to pull things out of her bag, so we can get started. I haven't actually seen the artwork for this, so I don't know what the artwork is for this one. Before long, the whole kitchen is a mess. Spoons, dirty bowls, flour, spilled fluid, and plastic bags are strewn about every countertop. The mixer isn't big enough to make all the batter at once, so we've had to do it several times. Meanwhile, Natsuki's babysitting all my movements to make sure I don't mess up her precious baking. Krona, where did you put the food coloring? The batter's going in the oven soon, and I need to fill the trays. Something is in the bag next to the table. What are you using it for? To color the batter, of course. I'm making each tray a different color. That way, even if the flavors aren't different, everyone can still pick their favorite. Oh, that's a cute idea. Are we doing anything like that with the icing? Do you want to? You're asking me? I don't really have a preference, so Come on. You're not putting any heart into this at all. Can you at least try to have fun? I'm having fun. I like to be in the friend zone. I like friends. It's not as fun as you think. They don't treat you as a friend. They treat you as an item. I'm not really sure what Natsuki's trying to get out of me. Meanwhile, I see her separate the batter into smaller bowls and put a few drops of food coloring into each. Ah, that does look pretty cool. See? It's not like baking's just about following instructions. The presentation is where you're going to be creative and have more fun. Exactly, that's why whenever I used to do beans, mash, and sausage, I would do a mountain of mash in a sea of gravy with sausage boats, basically the boats are sausages, so I'd cut them down the middle, like kayaks, and then I'd stick the green beans out the top of the island, like foliage. I used to do that when I was flipping 8. And it was one of my favourite things to do, and I hardly have looked at presentation of food since. Just look at some of the cakes I built. It literally just looks like, oh, it's all slathered together. It's a million times more worth it in the end. If it just looks in the end, if just looking at it makes everyone's eyes lighten up. I guess you kind of feel that way about cosplay, isn't it? Like, just getting in the costume is cosplay. But if then you do the makeup and the presentation of such, and you do the little details, it feels so much better. Like the ones you made on my first day, huh? I recall Natsuki proudly presenting her cat-shaped cupcakes, and Sarah and Monica's delighted expressions. I wonder if I can make Natsuki proud like that too. Yeah, maybe I will use some food coloring then. Sounds like you're starting to understand. Just make sure you completely finish mixing the ice before you mess with the food coloring. Yeah, it's getting there. We use the electric mixer for the batter, so I got stuck with a whisk and a huge bowl for the icing. Huh? The icing's still all lumpy. Are you even trying? Oh, yeah. Just takes a little longer. Jeez. I'll be all night if you do something like that. Here, look. Natsuki grabs the whisk from me and uses her other hand to tilt the bowl back. You really need to beat the crap out of it! After a few seconds, the consistency of the icing has already improved. You have to beat the crap out of your icing! I just love beat the crap out of it as a phrase. Oh, I'm all giggly. I blame the zoo for me being all giggly today. I'm gonna share this with you guys. I know Evie knows about this already. I don't know if you saw it, Lucina. I saw my first red panda in my 24 years of experience there, and the things are so bloody cute. They are so cute. Let alone, I got a close-up with a meerkat, because the zoo has those little tunnels where you can pop your head up. There was a meerkat standing right next to it. And for those that don't know, oh god. Meerkats are up there as one of my favourite fictional exotic animals. As if to emphasise, Natsuki sticks a finger in the icing and pops it in her mouth. I reluctantly start to do the same. Hey! Natsuki suddenly grabs my wrist. I don't want your gross fingers in my icing. Your icing, huh? This is an innuendo and a half, isn't it? Are you forgetting who did all the work? I start to fight back, trying to itch my finger towards the bowl. Don't make me beat the crap out of you next. I'd like to see you try. I push hard, just enough for my finger to reach the icing. I triumphantly scoop some with my finger, just as Natsuki tugs with all her might. Yeah. The force of Natsuki pulling me, causing me to stumble, making her stumble in turn. Gross. You got it in my face. Okay, so we have to consider this is icing. Whose fault is that? There's a big glob of icing on Natsuki's cheek. She tries to reach it with her tongue, but it's too far away. Jeez. You know what? Take this! Natsuki instead wipes off her finger before shoving her finger towards my own face. It's very sus, considering this would be white icing at this point. You wish. I'm faster. I'm fast as fuck, boy! I grab her wrist from my hand before it reaches my face. Natsuki tries to use her other hand to fight back, but I grab that one as well. Stop! Not until you apologize for calling me gross. Fine, fine. Wait, am I still wearing my school uniform? Look at the sleeves. Is the MC still wearing his school uniform in this scene or something? I'm sorry for calling you gross. You know, I don't mean it. It's just fun seeing you react to it. You do that to me all the time, you know. Saying dumb things to get a reaction out of me. You really shouldn't tease girls like that. Is that so? In that case, I probably shouldn't do this either. I take Natsuki's finger and put it in my mouth, licking off the icing. What? Did you seriously just... Natsuki's so surprised, she can't even figure out how to get mad at me. She is a tsundere. Which would make... She's a tsundere. Which makes Yuri the yandere. No, technically Monika's the yandere. Her face is entirely red. Kona, you really shouldn't do that thing to girls unless you really like them. You know that, right? What kind of question is she asking me, just like that? How did the mood turn this to this so quickly? Natsuki gazes at me in silence. I notice her shallow breaths. Why am I starting to feel dizzy? Out of nowhere, the fire alarm starts going off. Saved by the bell. Natsuki rushes over to the oven. Is something burning? We didn't put the cupcakes in yet. No wonder. You left a dirty tray in here, dummy. How can you make a mistake like that? You should have checked before turning the oven on. Don't blame me for your mistakes. Jeez. Natsuki uses an oven mitt to grab the blackened tray out of the oven. She sets it atop the stove. In another moment, the fire alarm stops. Anyway, I'm putting them in the oven now. Yeah. The tension from the moment still lingers over our heads, but the moment has already been lost. I watch as Natsuki slides the cupcake trays into the oven. Then, I reluctantly pick up the whisk and continue the icing, like nothing ever happened. That smells good. The cupcakes are ready to be pulled out of the oven. As soon as Natsuki opens the oven door, a blast of sweet-smelling warm air fills the room. I need to keep that in mind, because that is, I wanted to always explain how it's like getting hit by a wave of warm air. A blast of warm air. That is a good way of putting it. Look how cute they all look. She proudly shows off the different coloured cupcakes in each tray. They'll look even better once we add icing. It's not like I need you to tell me that. I brought the decorating stuff, so I hope you can get creative. Here, scoop the icing into these bags. Natsuki hands me some plastic bags. See, I'm gonna be honest here as a baking noob. I've never really iced, so I didn't realize that the bags used for icing cakes is literally just sandwich bags. You literally just put it in a sandwich bag, cut a corner, put it on a nozzle, spray. I never realized that until last year. I have these nozzles that will make them look nice and fluffy. This one can even make flowers. We probably won't be using it this time though. And what's this one for? I pick up one of the nozzles that has a much thinner tip than the others. That one's really thin, so you can make stripes or other patterns. But you can also use it to write stuff on cakes, like happy birthday or whatever. I see. That gives me an idea actually. Well, it's a literature event, right? We can make it more literature themed by writing a different word on each of these cupcakes. It'd be fun to see people choose the cupcakes based on a word they like. I was kind of expecting you to say something really stupid. That's actually a really cute idea, so... maybe I'm getting it from you. What's that supposed to mean? I'm not cute. I'm not cute, I'm adorable! Come on. I know it's school, no one's judging. You can't dress and act like this and not expect me to think you're cute. Oh. Natsuki's voice trails off. Same with you. Huh? Did you say something? No, nothing. Let's just do the icing. Natsuki picks up the pace and fastens the nozzle onto each of the bags. There's a lot to do, so we shouldn't be wasting our time. Here, I'll show you how to do it. But give me the chance to think before. Natsuki quickly moves on. She shows me how to apply the icing, and then we each get to work. Right. I need to go to the bathroom again, guys. Please give me one moment. And I've also had an idea for once we've finished here, but I will go into that in a moment. Alright. I thought I muted it. Sorry about the coughs, guys. So, when we do finish Natsuki's story, we will stop stream, restart stream, so you guys might need to refresh. That's just for YouTube's sake. Just to let you all know ahead of time. When we're finally finished, Natsuki puts them all aside to admire our work. Look how pretty these are together. Yeah, they are, aren't they? I wish I could have one now. Well, there's no reason you can't, right? I don't see any harm in that. Yeah, well, but my dad's making dinner tonight, and I need to save for my appetite. Sarah's the exact opposite in that regards. If she was here, would probably be down 10 cupcakes already. And she would still eat dinner. Oh, come on, that's just unhealthy. Besides, when my dad cooks, I need to eat as much of it as I can. Well, anyway, I was hoping we'd have time for manga, but I need to be home for dinner. Already? That's a shame. It's all your fault for working so slowly. You should have thought about that. It's not like you always have this chance. As usual, Natsuki places the blame on me. You can bring the cupcakes tomorrow, right? If you and Sayori can carry some, you can probably do it in one trip. Yeah, I can do that. And don't worry, I won't let her eat any. I wish she would listen to me the way she listens to you. Yeah. I think back to the conversation I had with Sayori earlier today. I felt so helpless. Sayori always does listen to me. But at that point, it felt like she couldn't listen to me at all. Okay, I'm all packed up. Good work today. You too. I'll walk you out, I guess. Oh god, here we go. Just like that, Natsuki's about to leave. I feel like the afternoon went by in a flash. More than that, did I ever take the opportunity to get closer to her, like I wanted? Well, I guess I'll be off then. Thanks for the help and everything. I'll see you tomorrow. Wait, Natsuki? Huh? What you said about before, about not always having this chance. It doesn't have to be that way at all. I had fun today. Show me how fun bacon can be, like you wanted. But aside from that, you can come over any time, okay? I think that, if possible, I'd like to spend more time with you like this. If you want to read manga or go out somewhere, do you really mean that? Natsuki looks at me tensively, like she's trying to hide her expression. Yeah, I want to spend more time with you. Krona, I thought you wouldn't care about getting this done. I'm sorry I had to leave so early today. I really didn't want to. I'd really stay here longer if I could. I feel the same way as you, so... Natsuki suddenly gets closer to me. Wait, Natsuki? Standing inches from me, Natsuki looks up at me. Animal Crossing updated! I feel her fingers gently clutch at the sides of my shirt, as if she's holding on to me. Her rose-coloured cheeks and matching eyes fill my vision, along with her slightly parted lips. What is happening? My head starts to go dizzy as I feel her soft breath against me. I felt it for a while now. Natsuki suddenly jumps back. Sayori? Huh? Hi, Corona. Sayori, just now we weren't... It's okay, Corona. I just stopped by to say hi. Well, you should have come a little earlier. I'm on my way out, so... Oh, really? That's too bad. Yeah, well, I'll still see you at the festival tomorrow, so it's fine. Just don't eat any cupcakes before then. Anyway, laters! Clearly flustered, Natsuki hurries off, and Sayori waves goodbye. Alright. Don't pay attention, 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 don't pay attention. La 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 la. It still hurts. I managed to carry all of the cupcakes myself by carefully stacking 2 trays. Natsuki is already texting me up a storm, but I can't respond thanks to my hands being full. Funnily enough, I probably felt the same way as Natsuki about the event. I'm more than excited for it to be over, so I can spend time with Sayori and Natsuki at the festival. But, knowing Monica, I'm sure the event will be great too. And here we are talking to Monica. As with Yuri, that brings an end to another one of the stories. Let us return to our desktop and have a look. Side stories, we now have more. We now have Monica and Sayori's cross, which is nice. Picture-wise,
You have my thanks.
oh my god, that's so cute. I don't know how to unfortunately, I don't know exactly how to pronounce your name. So, IA, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Arcadia, where the doors are open and the games are on. We hope you enjoy your stay with us. We also have the new poems, naturally. And we also have our free Natsuki posts. Oh my finger. Yo. Guys. If I get fan art done of sprites or make sprites for Haruki, I can put him in the actual game. Also, holy shit! I see. Hello, how are you doing today? Welcome to the stream. I need to get the, I need to get that a cow suit now, guys. Ow. Because obviously there's one thing I like to do. Kind of wanted to do it this stream, but unfortunately, I thought with the amount of time I'd be playing, it wouldn't be a smart idea. Oh, that needs to be fixed. Oh, and it's on my chair. Chair. Now, it wasn't originally planned today, guys, that I would be wearing Sayori today. With, obviously, my Sayori wig and everything. I don't know. I feel like my Sayori wig needs a redo, personally. But I am also happy with it. I've always been happy with this one. Like, it's all messy and everything. It's all messy at the bottom where it's just supposed to be. It's supposed to be a very messy wig. The bow is falling out, unfortunately, so I need to kind of restack that. And I need to go over this one again, because at the moment, Monica is using the wig stand for it. And I don't actually have a lot of wig stands left. Or, well, actually, I don't have any available or free. The original idea today was going to be casual Sayori, but as I say, because of the zoo, I was kind of like, I can't. Let's have a look and see if we have any. Also sent a tsundere when you want to see. Oh my. I have a question, Evie. How did you get away with being so adorable? And how did you get so adorable? I will happily take some adorableness. I don't like this. Okay, so we're going to end the stream real quickly, but we'll be right back, guys, as we're going to start Sayori's